Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my review of the brand new LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series TIE Interceptor. It's big, it's detailed. Is this worth your money? Let's find out today in this review. This video is not sponsored by LEGO, all opinions are my own. Now let's get straight into it. Nothing crazy going on with this box, just the standard UCS 18+ Star Wars style, which to be fair works really well for the Imperial Star Wars sets. It's again got the 25th anniversary logo in the corner, with on the back some additional angles of the ship with a shot from Return of the Jedi. When you open this up, you're presented with 22 numbered bags, an instruction booklet, a sticker sheet with 15 little stickers on it, and a glossy display plaque, just kind of on its own. We'll get into all of this a bit more later, but for now, let's put this bad boy together. First, some objective information about set 75382, the TIE Interceptor. This set came out May 1st this year as part of the May 4th event that's happening each year with Star Wars. It's part of both the LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series as well as the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars. The set comes with 1931 pieces and retails for €230 and dollars, 200 British pounds and 350 Australian dollars. This gives you a value of about 12 cents per piece, which is nothing out of the ordinary for LEGO Star Wars. It weighs 1,578 grams, meaning per gram of LEGO you're paying more or less 15-ish cents. That is about average, really. It includes one single minifigure in the form of this TIE pilot, which is exclusive to this set. Here are the spare parts I ended up with, and the instruction manual has a total of 322 pages. We first saw this starship in Return of the Jedi back in 1983, being a superior version of the regular TIE fighter. More recently, it was featured heavily in The Mandalorian, and overall I think it's just a really cool looking ship, definitely one of my favorite Imperial vehicles in Star Wars. But before going into the model itself, let's first check out the TIE pilot. This, like I said just now, is an updated and exclusive version of the TIE pilot, for he has arm printing this time around. In my opinion, LEGO TIE pilots have always looked fantastic for the longest time, but now it seems just almost perfected. I don't really see what other improvements could be made here. The helmet is perfect, the printing overall is super detailed and screen accurate. Just all you could want out of it, really. Now that I think of it though, the head underneath being exposed at the back might actually be the only thing that possibly could use an update. Maybe like one of those stormtrooper heads could fix this, but who knows, maybe in the future. The face underneath is just a regular face, by the way, nothing too crazy. There's also this little guy, a mouse droid, which technically isn't a minifigure, but he does accompany our pilot. A little bit of a newer design, I really like it, and just a cute little addition. You could argue that one minifigure for an expensive set like this is kind of lame, especially because it's kind of expensive. But if you think about it, what other figure could you add? I mean, this is the only thing that really makes sense. I think there's something to say for both sides of the argument. Now on to the building experience. Before building, as expected, you're getting a nice little intro about the set designer and whatnot, and there's some really cool art in here. We learned that this set was designed by the very same man, Henrik Anderson, who also designed the original UCS TIE Interceptor from back in the day. And there are little details that give that away too, like the shovels and the studded wings, but more about that later. The actual building of this set was mixed, fun but mixed you could say. The first half is really cool, where you put together the cockpit and the base of the ship, but once you arrive at the wings, it gets pretty repetitive. But hey, what did you expect? The thing has 4 wings, obviously you're gonna have to build them all, but the colored bricks on the inside did make building it a lot easier and most of all faster, which is great. I spent almost 3 hours putting this TIE together. Now let's have a closer look at what we're here for, the TIE Interceptor. First off, its measurements. The standalone Interceptor is 40 centimeters long, 33 centimeters wide, and 24 centimeters high, and on its stand in its entirety it measures 34 centimeters high. It's big, that's the point, and it better be, because this is an Ultimate Collector Series set, of course. I don't think I need to tell you that this thing looks pretty incredible and really just like the real thing. And it makes sense, because the bigger the set is, the more easily they can get the proportions and details right. And they did, alright? I suppose we'll begin with the cockpit and continue from there. It's obvious this is very much a new technique for a spherical cockpit design. And I can see why some might be turned off by this. I personally think this was a great decision. It looks really good, especially looking at it as a whole. I must say though, it does naturally make for some unfortunate rounded little gaps here and there, which can look slightly messy up close, but I don't know, I'm not too bothered by it personally. It's not like those gaps on the recent Millennium Falcon. On the back, we have the thrusters without any real trans pieces showing, and that's actually accurate because unlike X-Wings, for example, TIE Interceptors don't appear to show any real engine lights on the back in flight, at least not from this hole in the center. That is what I saw in The Mandalorian. The top panel, which is printed and looks perfect I might add, can open up allowing you to see inside the cockpit. And let's be real here, is this not the best looking cockpit you've ever seen? We do get a bunch of stickers in here for a UCS set that might not be ideal, but given they're only used in the interior, I am not complaining at all. You can still put your figure in here though, if you'd want. The printed windshield piece also comes off pretty easily if needed though. The little guns up front look alright too, little basic maybe, but they do the trick. Then the arms of the fighter, if I should call them that, are fairly detailed as well and very accurate to the real thing. We'll go and compare it in just a minute so you can see what I mean. Very nice little greebling stuff on the inside of the wing base over here as well, with little tubes going along the inside. I love this because often the inside of Lego wings is just kind of left plain. This is a big step up from that. Then the actual wings. The most notable thing about them is the fact that there's large uninterrupted surfaces of black studs on here. I absolutely love this for multiple reasons. First off, it reminds you that yes, this is a Lego set. Sometimes models are so clean you almost forget it's Lego, especially the Razor Crest I feel like was one of those. But not here. This TIE Interceptor proudly presents itself as a Lego set. Not only that though, if you look at the real TIE Interceptor, you can see there's a bit of texture on the black parts of the wings. And while studs don't technically match that same pattern, it still gives off the idea that there is a pattern, and I'm here for it. It's a perfect choice. I love this. The structure of the wings has the exact amount of detail you'd expect. It looks really good overall, and the way the outline wraps around these wings is so satisfying. I absolutely loved that when I was building it. The guns up front in particular look really good too. Nice piece usage here, but they do fall off with the slightest flick, so try not to touch them. They're really fragile. And then I suppose this is the right moment to start comparing it to what it's based on. Hereby the comparison. First, the shape and proportions. I mean, what can I say? This speaks for itself. It is basically spot on, and even if you look closer, each individual element just looks right. For example, the arms, all the shaping matches very well. Of course, it's all a bit Lego-fied, but hey, I mean, that's what we buy Lego for. I am blown away by the accuracy here. Also, I didn't expect anything else from a UCS set, so it makes sense, but still, absolutely fire. I love this. This set is more than just the TIE Interceptor though, it comes with a stand and a display plate as well. The attachment to the stand is really satisfying, it just kind of slides on and off very smoothly. You do want to make sure you hold it by the body though, and not the wings. The wings are sturdy, but obviously they're gonna have some wiggle with the connections like these. It is quite a challenge to get this right, so I think they did a pretty impressive job already. As a whole, it is a strong and sturdy build, it's just best to still handle it with care. It sits on the stand at an angle, it looks super cool in my opinion, and of course, the stand has a display plaque. Now usually these styled plates had a matte finish, but this one is shiny. I think it's really cool that the printing on it is slightly matte with the background being glossy, but this does however come with a downside. Whilst mine is pretty clean and smooth, I've seen plenty of people online that had issues with it being all scratched up. The piece comes loosely on its own in the box, so depending on how the package was handled, you could potentially get one that is not that great looking from the start. I seem to be lucky with mine, but in general I'm not sure this change and risk was necessary. It looked fine before too, but I guess that's a preference factor here. There's also room for your minifigure down here along with a 25th anniversary brick, like the Starship Collection sets have as well. But of course, if you preferred without all this, you can just leave it off, all up to you. When it came out, I also got the Fang Fighter vs TIE Interceptor set, which came with a playscale version of the TIE Interceptor. I thought it'd be fun to compare the two real quick. I must say the small version has a solid amount of detail and accuracy as well, and it works just as good as a display piece. However, you cannot deny that the level of accuracy on the UCS TIE Interceptor is just superior, and its size makes it a lot more imposing too. It's just nice to know that there's a cheaper and smaller option out there. The only downside is you're paying $100 for it alongside a rather inaccurate Fang Fighter, which is a lot less desirable, but oh well. I guess I could best describe this set as simply really cool. If you like the original TIE Interceptor design, this one will absolutely tickle you. Simply an awesome item for your Star Wars collection. Now let's go into the pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Most notably, the accurate design is the biggest pro. It's everything you would expect in terms of detail. And I personally never owned the prior UCS Interceptor, but I can absolutely see how this set has a nostalgic weight for older fans. That is worth mentioning too. It's really cool to see the same designer come back in and revisit a classic set like this. As for cons, one minifigure could be considered a con, but like I said earlier, it kind of makes sense. It depends on your priorities. And then there's the display plaque. It's unfortunate that you might get one that's all scratched up. Maybe having it in a little plastic bag or protective cover would have helped with that. But then also, I don't see what the problem was with the matte ones. Those looked fine to me too, so. And finally, there's the price. I can't wholeheartedly say this is a con either, but $230 seems like a lot of money for this. The price per piece sounds alright for this set, but it's kind of a skinny build, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure. It really depends on how much you're willing to spend. Lego in general is just expensive. This doesn't technically differ much from the norm. So to buy or not to buy, if you're a fan of the ship, I would say go and buy it if you have the money lying around. It is very cool. It's detailed, nice for display, and simply badass. Wow. If you enjoyed this video, make very sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future upload, and then I hope I'll see you in the next review.